League winners are essential for fantasy football. So today I'm bringing you 5 league winners that you need to be drafting in your 2025 fantasy football drafts. If you like fantasy football, hit that like and subscribe button down below, as we at the 4for4 Fantasy Football YouTube channel are on the way to 1,000 subscribers. Starting it off with player number 1 that I think is going to be an absolute league winner. It is going to be Travis Hunter, who has a lot of question marks around him. Main one being, what is going to be the percentage of snaps that Travis Hunter is going to be playing wide receiver and is going to be playing cornerback. Now, as we kind of take a look at this, some breaking news just came out today where it got announced that Travis Hunter on the depth chart is a first-string wide receiver and a second-string cornerback, which is kind of a little bit of what people thought was going to happen with Travis Hunter. Mainly the fact that when you trade a future first and a second plus your pick 5 to go trade up to that second overall spot to grab Travis Hunter, you're putting a lot of draft capital into a cornerback. Not saying that he can't play cornerback and that he can't be super useful there. I just think that level of talent, you want to be absolutely investing into your cornerback spot. And now, one of my favorite follows on X is Jacob Sanderson, and Jacob put out a really brilliant article a few weeks ago talking through a little bit of his projection when it came to Travis Hunter, and the main one being in the range of outcomes. Hey, what is this snap share going to look like specifically for Travis Hunter? And so kind of in this range of outcomes and in him talking about it, the one thing I liked is he's kind of projecting that Travis Hunter ends up playing around 120 to 140% of overall snaps. Because if we're assuming he's playing both offense and defense, that means that he's kind of playing in that 120 to 140% range. The problem with kind of making that projection and doing projections is when I'm in the spreadsheets and I'm also making my yearly projections, you're projecting that player is only going to be playing wide receiver. So even if he plays 70%, snaps on offense, that's all you have to worry about. You don't have to worry about him playing on defense, being gassed, those sort of things. And so you kind of have to take that into consideration a little bit here. Now, game plan's going to play a ton into this. I think when you kind of look at Travis Hunter and the way they're going to use him, of course, if he only plays 70 to 75% of snaps on offense, we're assuming that most of the snaps that he's not playing are either run plays or plays that maybe they're passing the ball that they weren't planning on targeting to Travis Hunter, which is kind of the idea of that Travis Hunter is going to be playing those high-value snaps. Like I said, with the draft capital, we haven't seen a wide receiver drafted pick 2 overall in a super long time. I understand he was drafted there mainly because he can play both ways. But I do think even if he does have a reduced offensive workload in the sense that he is not on the field 100% of snaps, that in those snaps that he is playing, he will have a higher target share in those condensed amount of targets, then he will have a higher snap share with those highly condensed targets than maybe otherwise. And so I think what I'm just trying to say is I think it will all work out for Travis Hunter. I think there's a massive plan in place. And yes, we have not seen an athlete of this caliber with Travis Hunter be drafted in the NFL. Now, if you look at any reception perception by Matt Harmon, he compares Travis Hunter to a prime OBJ. I'm not saying that Travis Hunter is going to absolutely come into the NFL and light the world on fire. But what I am saying about Travis Hunter is that he was talented enough to be drafted with the top 2 picks. And we are not drafting him like that. Like last season, we saw Malik Neighbors. We saw Marvin Harrison Jr. at the back end of the first, early part of the second. We saw Malik Neighbors in that early 4th level range. And when we're taking a look at Travis Hunter right now on the 4for4 site composite ADP, which if you want to use tools like this on 4for4, use code YouTube. It'll give you 25% off. Absolutely help you win a fantasy football championship in 2025. He's the wide receiver 32 on composite right now. And so you're getting to draft him at overall player 68. So he's going in the back end of the 5th, early part of the 6th round. And so I 100% think this is a shot that you're not having to invest that same level of capital in Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think we're talking about Travis Hunter, and he should be in consideration in that discussion as that high-level, rookie-level wide receiver. So I absolutely think Travis Hunter is a league winner in 2025. Now, my second league winning player for 2025 fantasy football, it is going to be Rashee Rice for the Kansas City Chiefs. And Rashee Rice was somebody that was a lot of people's favorite darling until all of a sudden we see that suspension and that kind of whole court case come to an end with the decision. And so everyone's assuming that Rashee Rice is going to get somewhere between 4 to 6 games. A lot of Twitter lawyers, like I said, I'm not a Twitter lawyer, are saying that Rashee Rice is going to be getting 4 games. A lot of people are assuming 6. And we've kind of seen Rashee Rice's overall value on the 4for4 composite rankings go down. He's overall player wide receiver 22, overall player 48. So he's very firmly cemented in the 4th round. And like I said, you can get a league winner in the 1st round, you can get a league winner in the 2nd round, but I'm trying to highlight some guys that are not necessarily those top tier guys. But Rashee Rice is somebody that should be considered in the top tier. If he did what he did last season before he got hurt in those first 3 games, so he played 4 games, but in the 4th game he got injured. So if we just take those 3 games in that split, my man's put up 21.63 points per game in PPR, 8 receptions for 136 yards, and had an insane target share with 9.67 targets per game and 96 receiving yards. So dude was the clear alpha level wide receiver for Patrick Mahomes. He was kind of what we've been waiting for. We had seen Travis Kelce kind of be the only mainstay there for the Kansas City Chiefs in the wake of Tyreek Hill leaving. And we saw, some flashes from Xavier Worthy. We hoped for a little bit more from Hollywood Brown, but I think we saw what we were hoping for in Rashee Rice, and dude was going to be an absolute fantasy football star until we see that ACL get teared by Patrick Mahomes himself when he was chasing down that interception and Patrick Mahomes dove into him. So going into this season with him recovering from the MCL, I think even if he does get that suspension for the first 4 games, that's only going to let him recover and get healthier and progress without us really having to worry about a serious injury through the first 4 weeks, especially as we do know these types of injuries typically take a full year to recover. So even if he's not 100% himself, I mean, you can look at all the workout videos that have been posted by Rashee Rice. My man is exactly ready to go. I want to be taking a shot on Rashee Rice at this overall ADP because I think Rashee Rice has top 12, top 10. And if you base this on the PPR from such a small sample size of last season, we're talking about Rashee Rice being somewhere in a wide receiver at 7, wide receiver at 8 points per game. And if you can draft that at the value ADP that you're getting him, wide receiver 22, overall player 48, which I think is probably going to drop a little bit more. I think there's a lot of sickos out in the fantasy football community like me that are 100% drafting and pushing Rashee Rice up the board. But there's going to be a lot more casual starting to come in and drafting kind of influences ADP over like the next 2 to 3 weeks. And with that, I think we're going to see Rashee Rice go down the board. So if you are drafting around Labor Day or anything like that, I think we're probably talking about Rashee Rice in that wide receiver 24 to 25 range. And that's 100% of value that I want to take because I think it is wide receiver 22. Even if you were to get up to wide receiver at 19, 18, that's somebody that I want to be taking. Like, would I rather have Marvin Harrison Jr. or Rashee Rice? Give me Rashee Rice. DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, like those type of receivers. Terry McLaurin over Rashee Rice. Give me Rashee Rice each and every day as an absolute league winner for 2025 fantasy football. My next league winner for 2025 fantasy football. This actually shouldn't really be a league winner, but it is a league winner. It's going to be Mike Evans for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I was recording my top 50 overall rankings, and I had Mike Evans nicely in that overall range of wide receiver, 18 to 20. And I was just like, why am I putting Mike Evans here? Mr. Perennial all 1,000-yard, 10 touchdown wide receiver who last season, wide receiver 10 on a points per game basis was 17.2, 16.6 the year before that, wide receiver 10. The year before that was the wide receiver 13. What do we see happen in this offense? Really only Liam Cohen gone. We see Chris Godwin still coming off of another injury. We see them draft Emeka Egbuka, who a lot of people are excited about, that's going to say is going to be the number 1. And I'm just continuing to push Mike Evans down the board because I'm like, hey, he's 31 years old. He's going to turn 32. Father Time catches up with all of these wide receivers. As much as I loved the glory days of Julio Jones, it eventually caught up to him. Same thing's going to happen to Mike Evans. But why couldn't Mike Evans have us another good year? Why am I, until I see him fall off, until I see the ground shake beneath Mike Evans and his terrible hamstrings, why am I not just going to continue to push him up the board? And I think when I'm looking at the overall 4for4 composite rankings, where he is sliding in as overall player 37, overall wide receiver 17, I'm thinking to myself, that dude's a league winner in his own right because the value gap that you're going to get, sure, maybe we haven't seen a top 5 finish from Mike Evans in a few seasons. I mean, if you have to go all the way down to 2019 for a top 5 points per game finish, but my man is always finishing as, a lower end wide receiver 1, a high end wide receiver 2, and we're drafting him as a mid wide receiver 2 right now. And so I think there's a lot of room to be had for Mike Evans to absolutely explode up in value. And add in the fact that you have Emeka Egbuka. We looked at Jalen McMillan last season absolutely emerge when Chris Godwin went down. There's enough passing volume with Baker Mayfield for all these guys to eat. And so I want to be taking a shot on Mike Evans. I think he's an absolute elite league winner. And just just draft Mike Evans. I don't know what else to say. He's an league winner. You need to be drafting him. Very solid player for your fantasy football league. I think he's a league winner at this current ADP. My fourth league winning player for 2025 fantasy football, it is going to be TreVeyon Henderson. And yes, there were some reports that came out from TreVeyon Henderson is looking absolutely electric in the backfield, that he has a ton of, run blocking ability. All those things were part of his profile. I had TreVeyon Henderson as my RB3 in the rookie class, behind Amari Hampton and behind Ashton Jeanty. I think there was a lot of debate between Quinshon Judkins and TreVeyon Henderson at that RB3 spot. But the reason that I like TreVeyon Henderson more than Quinshon Judkins, as somebody that has watched TreVeyon Henderson since his freshman season, is just because there's a little bit more explosion. I think everybody in the fantasy football community is going to compare him to a Jahmyr Gibbs type. I think TreVeyon Henderson, when I look at him, he reminds me of like a poor man's Bijan Robinson, and I guess that's kind of the same comparison. I just think Jahmyr Gibbs is a little bit more faster than what TreVeyon Henderson's actually going to be in the NFL. And when we look at how rookie-level running backs get on the field, it's by pass blocking and knowing the playbook, and TreVeyon Henderson's 100% going to be, checking both of those off the board, knowing that he can pass block, meaning he's going to be out there on passing downs. He's going to get some passing work, especially because Drake May is a Timecodes quarterback where he does have that rushing upside. But who in this Patriots team is a more electric weapon than TreVeyon Henderson? I mean, maybe you could argue Stephon Diggs, Pop Douglas, Hunter Henry, Ramondre Stevenson. Like, no one makes you excited in this offense like a TreVeyon Henderson does. And let's not forget, 4.43 40-yard dash time was in the 92nd percentile. His speed score was in the 81st percentile, and his burst score was in the 91st percentile. So TreVeyon Henderson is an absolute elite level athlete. And I think the idea, and a lot of fantasy managers have this, is, okay, TreVeyon Henderson's probably not going to be getting 17 to 20 touches a game. And I agree. He should not be getting that amount of touches a game, because when we saw that in college, in his junior season, we saw TreVeyon Henderson kind of break down, deal with a lot of ankle and knee injuries. And then last year when he got to carry the load with Quinshon Judkins, we saw the absolute best out of TreVeyon Henderson since his freshman season. I love me some TreVeyon Henderson next to Ramondre Stevenson. I want TreVeyon Henderson to be out there on passing downs and to have some high leverage opportunities and to remain healthy, because like we said, in this 2024 campaign, got over 1,000 yards, 11 total touchdowns, and had 27 receptions. I think where he's going to make his mark is going to be in those receptions. He didn't fully get to show that at Ohio State because Ohio State has so many great wide receivers that he played with, whether it was a Marvin Harrison Jr., a Emeka Egbuka, a Jeremiah Smith, a Carnell Tate. The list goes on and on and on. I think TreVeyon Henderson is somebody that has that pass catching up ability. And so if you're playing in a full PPR format, give me all the TreVeyon Henderson that I can at this current ADP. Because when you're kind of building out your running back core, you want some of these guys that can absolutely take the top off of defense. So like TreVeyon Henderson right now is going off the board on the 4for4 composite as RB22, overall player 61. If you take a look at like someone in comparison, like Amari Hampton, he's all the way up at RB16. Now, Amari Hampton's ADP has started to climb because of the Najee Harris news. But what's kind of the difference in situation right now between a TreVeyon Henderson and an Amari Hampton? Nothing crazy. So I love the value that you're getting out of TreVeyon Henderson and being able to get him in the similar range as guys like a DeAndre Swift, a Joe Mixon, a David Montgomery. RB22 feels probably appropriate, but when you know that you're getting him in this late fifth, early sixth round, this is a league winner that I want to absolutely take a shot on it. My fifth league winning player for 2025 fantasy football, it's going to be another ex-Ohio State player. It's going to be Justin Fields for the New York Jets. And talking about Justin Fields, do I think he's going to lead the Jets to the playoffs? No. Do I think Justin Fields can be a competent quarterback? Yes, for fantasy football. And I don't know if the Jets are going to win any more than 4 or 5 games this season. I understand the big thing with Justin Fields has always kind of been, can Justin Fields pass the ball? I don't give a flying rip, because if we look at 2022, all the way back in 2022, which I know is, it's crazy to say that was almost 3 fantasy football seasons ago, his sophomore season in the NFL, Justin Fields put up QB5 on a points per game basis, fantasy football points, 20.5 fantasy points per game. In 2023, he put up 18.4 fantasy points. He was the QB9. Now, last year, when you take the fact that he did play in 10 games, but he also had a ton of rushing time. So if you look at kind of those initial starts that he had for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he had 11.9 fantasy points, 11.4, 19.4, and then 32 fantasy points, 15.9, 23.7 before, after kind of week 6, we saw Russell Wilson come in and start. I think Justin Fields has that high range of outcomes in his arsenal, especially considering the fact that we've already seen it. And this Jets team, as much as you want to talk through, we got Aaron Glenn, we got a new head coach, we got some new draft picks and weapons, and they got a good defense. I mean, when you're really looking at it, good offensive line for the Jets. You got Garrett Wilson. Who's the second receiving option? Is it Mason Taylor? Is it a guy like a Malachi Corley that's going to step up? We drafted some other rookie wide receivers, Ariana Smith. Those type of guys, are those going to be who's going to step up as that number 2? Or is it going to be they're just going to run and pound the ball with Breece Hall, Isaiah Davis, and Braylon Allen in the backfield? Or are they going to expect Justin Fields in the passing attack to kind of make things work, to kind of improvise, scramble, buy time? Because we know that Garrett Wilson can get open, but if he's getting absolutely bracketed on the left side in the X position, like, who are they going to throw it to? And Justin Fields is going to have to make magic on the field. I think we could see Justin Fields absolutely running for his life just due to the lack of weapons. And if that's the case, I think we could be talking about him averaging somewhere around 50 to 60 rushing yards a game, which in fantasy football could absolutely make him a mid QB1, if not finishing, like we said, in that QB6 to QB5 range. And when you're drafting him in the composite ADP right now, Justin Fields is all the way down at QB12, overall player 99-100. So you can wait on Justin Fields. I just felt like Justin Fields, even though a lot of us in the fantasy football community, you're not fully bought in on Justin Fields, we have seen that top 5 upside that he does possess. And drafting him at QB12, I mean, I think his floor is really like QB10. And so and I hate saying this because maybe I'm going to help push the Justin Fields draft price up, but with a ton of good quarterbacks, I understand he's getting pushed down even with that economic code quarterback upside that he does possess. But behind guys like a Brock Purdy, Kyler Murray, I mean, he's probably in that Kyler Murray conversation for me. Even like a Jared Goff is a few spots behind him. So Dak Prescott's also above him. Like, I prefer Justin Fields. And I know that's crazy. I know he's maybe not the safest option, but especially if you wait on QB, like the QBs in the QB 10 to QB 16 range are all very much the same. So if I can get 2 of those guys and have a starter and a backup, 100% want to be doing that with Justin Fields. I think he's an absolute game league winner. Take a shot on Justin Fields. I think he was done dirty by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think a lot of people are going to like some Justin Fields, especially if you're able to get him at value at QB12. But if you like fantasy football, like I said, hit that like and subscribe button as we are on the way to 1,000 subscribers here on the new channel. If you want to win your fantasy football leagues, make sure you use code YouTube on the 4for4 website. Absolutely best way to win your league. There's a ton of great articles, a ton of great tools. I've been using 4for4 secretly for like the last 3 years on my own personal channel, and highly recommend that you guys use 4for4 to absolutely beat your league mates. So appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.